Hey, welcome to the Scene 757 Locals Only. I am Sandy Archer.
Hi, I'm Lynnette Fitch. I'm current president of the Irish American Society of Tidewater.
We're so glad that you joined us. Ben, we will be right back. Hey, welcome back. So, Lynnette, what do we got to say?
Sláinte.
Sláinte. It's our St. Patrick's Day edition of the Scene 757. I'm so excited because I have one of my favorite people here and our favorite Irish American Society. So, Lynnette, tell me a little bit about the Irish American Society.
Sure. Well, we have been in existence since 1980. We were founded by Eileen Ryan Seeley back in 1980. And obviously, Sandy and I got involved a lot later than that. But been very active locally, doing a lot of social activities, but also some charitable activities, things like supporting Project Children, Clean the Bay Day, St. Baldrick's, things like that.
Wow.
And donating to the food banks and collecting things for pets, whatever currently is of interest in the organization, because obviously the membership, ebbs and flows. And sometimes we have a lot of younger people. Sometimes we have more older. It's multi-generational. Everybody's welcome. You don't even have to be Irish.
I was going to ask you, do you have to be Irish?
Yeah, no, you don't.
Because I'm more German than Irish.
Hey, as long as you're part Irish, that's
all right.
That's all good. But you don't even have to be that. We have a lot of really amazing members who are Irish by marriage. And some of them have been our most amazing members of all, but really dedicated. And we also have some people that aren't in any way, they just love Irish culture. Maybe they've encountered Irish people and really enjoyed how warm and friendly they are. Maybe they've seen movies and seen how beautiful Ireland is. Maybe they're attracted to the music.
Right.
So we actually do have a lot of members that don't have a drop of Irish blood. They just enjoy hanging out with the Irish.
With the Irish.
Yeah.
And that's how I started. So I've known Lynnette for a minute, just a minute. We've known each other for a little while, and it's because we liked what?
Irish dance.
Yeah. So I started because I liked river dance. I liked Lord of the Dance, and I thought, I want to try that. And I was an adult and I already tried it. So that's when I met Lynnette some years ago. We won't even say how long. But.
We were, and I actually, prior to that, I was after that as well, I was a competing Highland dancer. So I was, my family's mixed. We're both Irish and Scottish. And I met a bunch of y'all at a pub, which is no longer in existence in Norfolk, Mo and O'Malley's. Yeah. And so all these Irish dancers were congregated at the bar, and I came in and we got to chat, and they're like, you need to come dance with us. You need to come dance with us. And I'm like, you know what? I think I do.
Yes. And she did. And cut like that, It took me a while, but it was so much fun. We were so fun. It's so much fun. And we still do it.
Yep.
We still do it. So it's one of those things that once it gets in your soul, that you're, it gets in your soul to beat. So anyway, if you guys want to join, we will have a QR code for you later to join. So please, I hope that you do, because we do a lot of fun activities. Not just this. This is not the only activity. Just to let you know, if
a lot of cultural stuff, a lot of cultural.
If you're a non-drinker, it isn't about pub crawls and drinking.
Academic, intellectual stuff. Ireland is, called the land of saints and scholars, and we have a lot of people that have very academic, scholarly interests, artistic interests, musical interests. I mean, everything, anything Irish in any way, cooking, baking. I mean, seriously, every aspect of Irish culture is.
Yes. Celtic. I mean, a lot of people come and they just like both. Some are part of the Irish American Society and the Scottish Society. So we kind of intermingle. So please, I encourage you to join us and come for the fun. So, but tonight we do have a neat guest coming up. And I have been intrigued by this instrument for a long time, probably because of my German. But anyway, I won't say that because this is St. Patrick's Day edition. However, there's something about dancing. Do you remember dancing? So when I was Irish dancing, when we would get judged, they would either be playing a fiddle, violin, or an accordion. Yep. And when the accordion player started to play, I'd be like, yes, I am going to kill it with the slip jig, because accordion players can play a slip jig. Sorry, fiddlers, better. So I would win on those. So just to let you know.
Nice,
so anyway,
nice.
He's an accordion player. He's local here. He plays with some of our cool bands that we like that are local. And I'll let him tell you about that. So let us introduce our guest, who is Miles Hoyle. So come join.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming. We appreciate it. So tell us, okay, so are you from here? First of all,
pretty much Chesapeake, Virginia. Yep.
So you're from here.
Local 757.
Okay, all right. So did you play any other instruments before the accordion?
Yeah, actually, my first instrument was guitar. I started that when I was 9, and I still play that some too, but it took a backseat to accordion about 16, 17 years ago. Who's counting? But so I kind of still dabble in guitar as well, but the accordion became the main thing about quite some time ago.
Oh, great. So what is it that you enjoy about the accordion?
Oh, well, a lot of things, but the beauty of it is that it's truly a one-man band instrument, in the sense that you can do your own accompaniment, you can do your own harmony, your own melody. That's not always possible on other instruments. Like a great example would be, just the fiddle, for example. That's why you see orchestras with all these people, to do something like a chord that is comprised of 4 notes. Is, to my knowledge, I don't play fiddle, but I don't think that's possible on a fiddle. Another example would be like a trumpet. You can't possibly, one trumpet player can't do a full chord. They just do the individual note.
Oh, that's neat.
So things like that. And so the capabilities of it for one person are really interesting in that matter. And then
you can play a hurdy-gurdy.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Those are, I kind of wanted to give one of those a go once, but they're actually more trouble than accordion, to be honest with you.
Do you ever play the harmonica with the accordion? I've seen that little combo. Does that
I've
work?
Never tried that. I suppose you could. No, I've never given that a go yet. No. Maybe for something to try in the future.
So can you educate me about the difference, the pros and cons, or the difference between let's say a Irish squeeze box versus a big
Oh yeah, definitely. So there are many types of accordions, and for Irish stuff, there's the Irish concertina, which is the roundish looking one with the buttons on the side. That's totally different from what I play, which is piano accordion. Then there's the Irish 2-row button diatonic accordion. That's where when you're pressing a note, if you push in this way, it's one note, and then while pressing the same button, if you pull out, the note changes. That's different. Whereas piano accordion's chromatic, meaning as I press a key or a button, it's the same note going in and out with the bellows, the slinky part in and out. Mm-hmm.
Neat. Now, is there somebody local that you learned from here?
Yes and no. But the quick answer to that would be yes. Sid Sward, a good friend of mine and kind of my mentor, took me under his wing. And but before him, I basically didn't know anyone else that played for the first couple of years, and then I met him later. But I didn't take formal lessons per se, but I just enjoyed hanging out with him so much, and then he would just show me things, and then I would just try to see him when I could, which was really fun and a great way to learn. He's an amazing player and just an amazing person, so that was super special to get lucky enough to meet him, for all that to happen.
Now, did you do any of it for heritage reasons?
Oddly enough, no. I get asked that all the time, but we're actually German mostly on my father's side and a little bit Irish, but mostly German.
German.
But I didn't actually know that until recent years.
Okay.
So I didn't even know that at the time that I started accordion all that time ago. And then we're like Norwegian on my mom's side. So
Okay.
no, I didn't find that out till way after I played accordion. I got interested into it really because of musical purposes, especially because well, I played guitar first, and when I first got out of high school, which is roughly around the time I decided I was thinking of giving it a go, and you know, everybody goes their separate ways, and I had always been in like punk bands and stuff growing up as a kid, and then I was kind of like, oh, there's nobody to be in a band with anymore.
You were in punk bands as a kid?
Yeah.
How are you in a punk band as a kid?
Oh, all the time, like
The kids in my high school were too.
Yeah. Well, punk's a great like starting point, especially for young people, in my opinion, for music, because like one thing we used to do is like a Friday ritual. It was me and my friend Simone and some other guys. We would get together, and it kind of taught you the bare basics of multiple instruments and how things work in a band, like in a unit. But we would do like Ramones songs, like Blitzkrieg Bop, you know, hey, oh, let's go.
Yeah,
and then
true.
I would do it like on guitar, but then we would play the song again, but we would rotate. And I'd do it on bass, and then we do it again, and I'd do it on drums, and then take turns singing.
There you go.
And then you try it, and it really kind of taught you how everything kind of gels together in a group environment.
So that was without a teacher.
Yeah, it was
You guys just did
like
it yourself.
experimental jazz band, but without
Nice.
jazz.
That's really cool. So who do you look to besides your mentor? Like, who else out there is somebody famous that's an accordion player? Because I mean, I'm clueless about.
Well, I don't know if the famous people always count per se, because I mean, the really famous person to get it out of the way with is Weird Al, and everybody's like, "Oh, you must love Weird Al." I mean,
Sharon Shannon.
I don't. Yeah, Sharon Shannon's great. There you go.
She's amazing.
See,
Yes.
you know, but I feel like your average person doesn't know who she is, even though it would be great if they did. But you know, he's like the big Hollywood name at least. And I don't have anything against him. He's funny. He's cool. He's super talented. He's not my cup of tea because it's like parody.
Yeah,
right.
But he's
a smart
great.
guy, though. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's still awesome. His albums are cool. Like
I didn't even think of Weird Al, honestly.
I get it all the time because I think he's like the big pop culture reference.
Yeah.
True.
That makes sense.
For accordion.
True.
But I've been really into bands like, well, to name someone obvious, Flog and Molly. So Matt Hensley, their accordionist, has been super inspiring.
They were just here.
Yeah.
Didn't you go?
Great
Did you go?
stuff. Of course. Yeah.
Okay, so they both went. I didn't go. I'm sorry.
No, I bought the ticket and then I wussed out and didn't. I'm having
no.
potty training problems with my puppy, which is sad and lame, but it really. I also had a Dropkick Murphys ticket that I bought last November. Didn't go to that either. But that's not what this is about. So
oh my goodness.
Yeah. Very upsetting.
What is happening?
I know.
What is happening
I
with
know.
your Irish culture? So, oh my goodness. So now let's transition to current.
Sure.
What are you doing now? Who are you playing with, or what type of material are you doing? What projects?
All kinds of stuff. So for current stuff, Fighting Jamesons have been already out playing since late February for this kind of Patty season.
Yeah.
And then the last 3 gigs of the month are coming up here as we approach Patty's Day. So
like where at?
Tomorrow at the Broadberry. And then this Saturday, we're doing 2 things in the same day. So wish my bandmates luck that they don't pass out. And well, me too.
Hey,
probably
we
me before them.
Dancers,
the Irish dancers. We would have to go to sometimes 3, 4 different things in one day.
Oh yeah, that's gotta be.
So
we feel your pain
the next day, huh?
Yeah, we had fun. A lot of times we wouldn't go anywhere for St. Patrick's Day because we were just exhausted, right?
Oh yeah.
So where are you guys going to be playing at on Saturday?
Saturday we're going to be doing Finch in Hampton, and then also Billsburg Brewing in Williamsburg.
Oh, so they're right next to each other. Good.
Yeah.
So you don't have to battle the tunnel.
Oh yeah, of course. I think logistically for the time frames and everything, that was the safest and smartest thing. I don't know if 2 in the same day would have happened.
Are they both breweries?
Mm-hmm.
Oozle, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I haven't been to
I haven't either, but it's like the Fort Monroe area.
Yeah,
Ousel Finch.
I've driven by Ousel Finch, but I've never actually been in it
Same.
yet. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it's like. And
So if anybody has any questions, please, bring them our way. I'll see your questions on here. So, yeah. so when do you play the whole time that in their set, or do you just come up at certain times? I mean, how does that work?
for Fighting Jameson? No, like the whole show. I mean, there's little moments where you sometimes take a rest, like if the guitar starts with a guitar intro and you wait. But no, yeah, I'm there for the whole set. I've been with the group for about 11 years.
Wow.
So I've seen you. I mean, I've seen the Fighting Jamesons a lot. And did you do the Greening Again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been doing that for not quite every year, but almost every year. There was, obviously COVID and stuff like that. But otherwise, it's like an annual tradition the group's been a part of. That one just happened last week.
Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed it. But
in the fall, they're usually at the Richmond Games.
Yep,
The
Richmond
Richmond,
Highland Games.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. So we've kind of been around the same.
A lot of times at Murphy's.
Yeah.
Sometimes in smaller configurations too. Like y'all split up into different units and do.
Well, sometimes, Mike and Jeff have done like these acoustic shows on the inside part of Murphy's, which is just logical because even on a normal busy night, they're just a really happening, popping place. So it gets really packed. And then the stage, although we have jammed the whole band on the stage, but it's really not, I think, maybe intended for that, although we can make it happen. And we have, but most of the time when the full group plays there, they utilize the parking lot and the newer or semi-newer outstage.
Awesome. So I think you told me that you were doing a new project too.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, I've got all kinds of things in the works. I kind of like to stay busy. It's kind of both a blessing and a curse. So multiple other things in the works. Sometimes I try to do recording projects, which I released a couple tunes, the ones that sent you, and that we can.
I do have a couple. I'll share it after the show.
Yeah. And, so those are somewhat recent-ish. Those were really fun to do. So they were kind of like more like studio projects, although when I play out alone, I can play them alone too, but then you don't hear some of the backing instrumentation. But I recorded 2 originals in the studio with audio engineer Robert Olsch at Master Sound Studios, which is my it's like a dream world. It's like being a kid in a candy store when you get to go record there with him. So that's super exciting.
Shout out to him. That's
absolutely,
yes,
awesome. And I did like the accordion and a tiny bit of mandolin on one of the 2 tracks, some piano, and then I don't play these instruments, but I wrote parts, and then they helped guide me a little bit as well with the strings. So we had Joshua Ciro Delgado, who did the cello, and Justin Stanley on violin. So huge shout out to those guys for helping me out. Awesome. And then we kind of made that come to life. It was really more of a, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Amelie. Does that ring a bell?
No.
Sounds French.
Yeah, it is. It's like it's a French like romantic comedy film. But the reason I asked that is the composer for it, Tierson, was this guy who made just this amazing soundtrack for it. So I kind of set out with these 2 tunes to hopefully kind of not copy, but kind of inspired by that and do something in those lines. So we had fun doing that, and that's something that's out now that people can hear.
Neat.
I also have like another folk punk project in the works called the Dunkirk Riots.
Yes, tell us about that.
Yeah.
It
sounds like she knows about it. You know about it?
I'm excited. I'm very excited about it. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't. We're in the middle of recording, so I don't want to give too much fun stuff away. One thing I would encourage people to do, we're going to be playing our first show. I can't say the date yet. Late this summer.
Are we talking
late July?
August, July.
Okay.
Like last week of July is the time frame, and
share it on our page when you do. So
yeah, sure.
Share it on this page.
People check out DunkirkRiots.com. And there's a mailing list on there, and then if
is
they
there
follow
a story
us,
from the name? Can you?
Yeah, actually, basically, it kind of came from a joke. I I don't want to give away where our drummer lives. Well, he'll be okay with this. I'm not going to say his address, but he lives on.
Don't visit him.
He lives on a street with the
Stalkers.
word Dunkirk in the name, and
Makes
so
sense.
I would jokingly say at the earlier formation of the band, when there was only like 3 or 4 of us, when it was still guys at the time, I would jokingly say, "All right, Dunkirk dudes, see you next week," like, you know, and then and one of them joked with me like, "Well, maybe we should just keep that because you keep saying that all the time." I said, "No, I don't know. I don't want it to sound like a joke." And then I joked back, and then I said, "Well, it would have to sound more punk rock than that because there's definitely a punk rock element to what we're doing." I said, "So it has to be something like, I don't know, you'd have to change the second word to like, I don't know, riots." And then they were like, "No, that's good. Write that down. Like, let's put it on the list of considering
That's really
things."
funny.
And so then we just stuck with
Wow.
it. So
Now, there's also a Facebook page that people can follow.
yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Dunkirk Riots.
I want to give a shout out to Tommy too.
Yes. Uh-huh.
He's in Dunkirk Riots, and he plays uilleann pipes, which are the Irish bellows ones, and he plays the great Highland bagpipes, the Scottish kind, and I think he plays banjo and maybe pipes. Does he play tin
and the
whistles?
whistle as well? Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm really excited about it. Because we're tapping into Irish and Celtic and punk rock, but also that's why I don't want to give too much away. But I actually when I write for it and stuff, because I really want people to be surprised and excited when they hear it and see it.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so but I tap into other cultures, and that's gonna pop out in our set.
Oh,
Like
that's awesome.
because I'm really into stuff from Finland actually, and there's little
Wow.
tasteful little pinches of things like that in there. So
Neat. I'm excited now.
And I've made friends with like Ukrainians and Russians in the area, and so their influence has kind of rubbed off on me a little bit, and it's really fun. That's one of the other things that kind of have going on and off again as I befriended Natalia Sutnik and Max Grudy, who are Max is like here from Ukraine, and as Natalia as well. And so we started doing, when we can, like different Ukrainian benefits together, where we play like songs from Ukraine together, like traditional folk songs.
Oh, that's
And
great.
we just get together with my former drummer, Mike Morgan from Mosquito Cabaret. And we get together and we did those. The last one we did was for the Norfolk Fest event at Elation Brewing.
Oh, nice.
And that was a really fun time. And so that's one of many things kicking around, but it's and if you
Are
keep
you
a
still
lookout
in
for
Mosquito
that.
Cabaret as well?
No, we were a group from 5 years, from 2017 to 2022.
Okay. Yeah, I remember the name.
We played in here. We had a fun moment in here. It was with us, with a show I put together with Hot Gumbo Brass Band, and I don't think there was a third group. But hopefully
We're at Back
forgive me
Bay
if there
Beach.
was.
We're Back Bay Brew House Beach House. I always say it wrong. That's where we are, by the way, and it's an event space that you can rent out, by the way. So just wanted to mention that.
Oh,
and they
cool.
have wonderful beers on tap. What are we drinking?
Oh, well, we are drinking an Irish red ale.
Okay.
And I figured it was appropriate because then we would have a blonde, brunette, and a redhead. So
and then we've got salt and pepper. So there you go. There you go.
Good stuff.
Hey,
Good stuff.
works. Okay. So sláinte, everyone. If you have a dark beer
or whatever.
Or water.
Or water.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Cheers to whatever.
So Jerry White, thanks for saying that. Great. He said, great to see local podcasts. Thank you. That's what we're trying to do. It's to promote local venues, local associations, societies, local musicians, because I feel like we don't get enough exposure of that. You know, I mean, this area is just booming with talented people and wonderful places. And I feel like a lot of people don't experience that. And that's the whole point of this podcast. So
absolutely.
Thank you for asking to come on and coming on for us. So, and we have a treat for you later, but I won't tell you what it is.
Well, thank you.
But anyway, so if you're going to play something for yourself, what is your favorite thing to listen to or play?
Oh, like if I'm jamming out in
Yeah.
the car. Oh gosh, I could take you on a field trip of CDs because I still have a CD player in my car, and
Nice.
everybody that rides with me
Nice.
is like, "Miles, there's CDs everywhere. You're ridiculous." They're like, "Don't you know you could just do this on your phone?" I'm like, "It's not the same." But
I'm with you. I'm with you.
See?
like one of my favorite groups I was listening to on the way here is called Yako Laitinen and Vara Raha.
You'll have to say that again.
Yep, Yako Laitinen and Vara Raha.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay.
So there's he's like this singer from Finland, and it basically means like a loose translation. I'm an amateur at Finnish, so but the other part, the first part is his name, Yako Laitinen, and Vararaha means like worse. It's kind of a rough translation for understand, like worse money.
Oh.
So,
Oh, okay.
but I'm a huge fan of that group, and so like I'll be at a light, just in my own world, enjoying that, and I will occasionally get a funny look, but I don't really. It doesn't really faze me. That's my kind of thing.
Well, right. If
and then
it's your
there's
car, it's your music.
then there's some obvious influences like Flogging Molly or Dropkick Murphys,
Right.
but and when it comes to the like folk punk or Celtic punk, there's so much not as commercially successful groups, but or maybe some groups from overseas that aren't as well known that I would argue deserve as much of a limelight. I'm a huge fan, guilty of also from Finland, Korpiklani, which kind of mix like humppa, which is like Finland's version, almost like polka, I guess. So it's very accordion and fiddle heavy, but they mix it with like heavy metal.
Wow.
So that's super entertaining stuff. It's a very unique
With
sound.
heavy metal.
Yeah, it's worth checking out.
Just a quick side note, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but the best wedding I've ever been to in my life, and my family's huge. My dad's the oldest of 10 kids. One of my uncles married a Polish girl. And there was a Polish band, and yes, there was accordion, and there was nonstop dancing the entire reception. It was the best wedding I have ever been to.
That's
so much fun.
Fantastic.
And I know you did the chicken dance.
I did everything. I did
dance.
not leave the floor.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I play that too because like when I'm not, that's another thing that I have coming up. I do a lot of stuff like just alone without a group for Oktoberfest. Is basically throw my lederhosen and usually average about 20-ish shows per Oktoberfest and run around the state and then come home and clap. So
20 shows. Wow.
On average, like it varies per year. I mean, it's still more time leading up till Oktoberfest. So
is there not a lot of accordion players around?
I don't know
there
about
any others?
for the rest of the state. Like here in Hampton Roads, I'm pretty sure I know all of them, but no, there's not many.
Not many. Like a handful. 3 minutes.
Well, this is kind of going back to Sid, who I told you about earlier. But when I first met him, him and this man, good friend of ours, Tips Ciotti, they ran a very small, like kind of, accordion club basically in Tip's house. Oh. And there would be like, it would fluctuate because it was very loose, it wasn't like strict. So one week, like it'd just be 8 people. And then next week there might be maybe on the really high end, 15 to 20.
That's a lot.
But
I think that's a lot.
But that was a lot of fun to do. And I kind of started going to that around the time that I met him. And that was really fun because then you could pick up things from all of them. But I was usually almost always the youngest person in the room, which is still great. I mean, I feel lucky and fortunate that to have befriended them and for them to have passed on.
So are you mentoring anybody else?
Yeah, I also teach accordion a little bit. Currently, I have just a couple of students. At one point, I had like 5 or 6. I don't teach like full time or anything. It fluctuates because there's not a lot of people, especially younger people, I think, interested in accordion. Or honestly, what's funny is sometimes in certain public situations, especially depending on the age of child at hand, but like they won't know what it is. They'll be like, especially if it's like a really little kid, they've never seen it before. So they'll be like, what is that? Like, especially if it's like a little kid, they'll ask their parents in front of you, like, Mom, Dad, what is that thing? It's blowing my mind.
What are they playing? It looks like a piece of furniture, but it's
or
noise.
Occasionally it might terrify them. Hopefully not. I don't know. But why does he have a typewriter strapped to his chest? But then I'd be like, why do you know what a typewriter is? So
this is
point.
true. Oh my gosh. Right. That's funny. That's funny. So, if you were to, is there a favorite song that you play? A favorite song that you've written?
Yeah. There's a song from Sweden that I just love to play. There was a woman that also would sing it. Her name was Alice Babs, and she's kind of fun to Google if you get a chance, because she sang in like multiple languages, kind of like Connie Francis did. So she would cut these like amazing, beautiful records that were like sometimes like swing and jazz and like kind of easy listening stuff. And she would do records in Swedish, and she would do records in English and Danish, and I think occasionally German. And she sang this song. I'm not going to butcher it because I don't remember my Swedish very well. But in English, it means "Once I Sailed in the Harbor." It's like a beautiful waltz tune, and it makes a great like solo accordion tune also.
Okay. And what was the name of the song again?
"Once I Sailed in the Harbor" is the English translation.
Nice.
I'll try it, but I'm not sure if I remember. I think in Swedish, if I recall right, any Swedes watching will laugh if there are. En gång en seglar i hamn.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
I might be a little off. It's a
Okay.
little shaky. I didn't stick with Swedish when I started to learn it, and so no, it's not so good.
Wow. Do you speak any other languages?
I'm an amateur at Finnish, but I couldn't nowhere near fluent. It's like a hobby, so
Okay.
I try to give it a go when I can. I'm excited because there is a local, the Tidewater Finlandia Foundation.
Oh.
Shout out to Randy.
Okay.
Super fun getting to know some of them. Like I've played for their group before at one of their like social gatherings, and will be again this summer. They're having like a midsummer party.
Ooh.
So that'll be fun. And so
Well, that's right. We're supporting the Irish American Society. I mean, I think I love heritage things. Do you ever participate in any of the NATO stuff around here, or anything that happens around the International Tattoo?
Not yet, although I would love to. It just hasn't came up.
Did you hear that?
Uh,
He would love to.
Yeah, would
I'm
love
sure
to.
there'd be a spot for him somewhere in one of those things.
But that's one of the great things about accordion is that it's actually found in very versatile, kind of like we were talking about earlier with bagpipes, where like sometimes maybe people are familiar with it from certain areas, but it's actually found in so many different types of folk music. You find it in it's in Mexican music, it's in Irish music, and it's in Scottish music. Like Jimmy Shand was like the guy, right? Yeah. Jimmy Shand was like
Every
the
good
accordion
Gaelic
player. There's a
band had to have
statue
one.
of that guy in Scotland.
There you go.
But then there's like somebody I admire. This is not well known though, like Harry Kusijärvi from Finland, who's an amazing accordion player and doing really neat experimental things. But you'll find it in just all kinds of different things. It's in like cumbia music. A lot of different styles out there than what maybe meets the eye, and not always just polka, although I love that too. So
do you do this full time? Is that what you
no,
do?
I wish. Nope. I do it a lot, and I try to do it enough to just enjoy it, and I do make money with it. But no, it's not a full-time endeavor. There's just hasn't really been that many opportunities, because that is both a good and bad thing. It's like it's niche, and so there's certain times where like your phone doesn't stop ringing, like Oktoberfest or stuff in March for our group, of course, for
It's
around
like feast or famine.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
feast
kinda. Well,
or
I've been lucky.
feast or-
I'm happy and grateful and lucky, because like that's what I mean. Stuff comes up that you wouldn't expect all the time,
Yeah.
and I've done all kinds of things. I've played in. I think that's the interesting thing. Like I feel like guitarists are in maybe like more formal environments all the time. I've played on the streets to random people passing by. I've done funerals. I've done birthdays. I've done
Weddings.
Yep, I've done weddings. Absolutely, I've done a lot of breweries. I've done different concert halls like the ones we're about to play, and so it's been it makes things interesting. There's never a dull moment.
So do you ever do it solo acoustic, like just solo?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Okay.
Like for all those Oktoberfest events.
Okay.
If people want to check those out, there's a whole list of them. It's kind of like you'll see on my page. There's really like a whole list of them coming up for this fall. It's kind of too many to name. But
Do
It's just
they
on my
have
website, which is
certain
milesworld.com.
dances that go along with? I mean, this is just me not knowing.
Oh,
Is
well,
there traditional dances like we have traditional and Irish?
there
You know
certainly
that
is.
anybody can play. So like, and then somebody can hear the tune, and then we'll jump up and dance.
Well, yeah, no, there certainly is traditional dances for like the German and folk music and Volksmusik and stuff like that. I don't always see it, but it depends on where I'm at.
Okay. I was gonna say, does any like German people just jump up and do any dances or?
Occasionally, you know, the funny thing is,
Or are
and
they
this,
freestyling?
We see it a lot
that
in
has
St. Patrick's
happened.
Day.
That has happened sometimes. It depends on the atmosphere I'm in, because I'll play a lot of breweries, and I've played like smaller tap rooms, like in this kind of environment where we're seated up here, where like people are just sitting down, kind of chilling out, and so I will just walk like table to table, almost like a serenade. So it doesn't tend to happen in that environment. But then I've done places where they set up the tents outside, and people are kind of standing about and more likely to do that, things like that. So there's been a whole mix of stuff. I will say when it tends to happen, like this one of those pop culture reference things, is like when the chicken dance, like if you do that, people just suddenly snap into it and they do the claps and everything in time. They're really, that's one that's crossed over. So
Yeah, it goes. Yeah, it's a wedding dance now.
yeah,
Like,
it's a
almost in
highly
all
recognizable
different-
song
right.
everywhere.
And a hockey dance. Like
Yeah, yeah.
you see it weird, unexpected places.
So, do you see you changing instruments at any time, or is there one that you would move to, or
Just
I don't
add
know.
to your repertoire.
There's some other things I dabble in. I don't know if I would be bold enough to say I would try to take them. So to me, like when I started accordion, I actually got my first mandolin around that time. Whew, that makes you appreciate mandolin players, because if you play guitar before that and then you're trying to squeeze everything into this tiny fret, it feels so different, and you're like, gosh, how do people do this?
right?
But no, I kind of like being mostly primarily focused on accordion, but still doing other things. I mean, I'm people ask me all the time, oh, so you must play piano too. To an extent, it's only half the same. So it's like my right hand is decent on piano, but depending on what you want, like if it's demanding the left hand on piano, that half's not the same. So to be honest with you, it's probably not a good idea. But,
Right. About how heavy are accordions?
The heaviest ones I have are around like, I own like 10.
Oh my gosh.
But like
wow.
some of them are almost 50 pounds or around that.
50 pounds?
But the one, like the electric one I use, because that's all digital, is actually quite light. That thing's only like, I don't know, maybe 15. Yeah, like the one I use on stage, like with Fighting Jamesons, for example, is the Roland FR3X, which is like a digital all electric accordion. So there's no
that's neat.
reed blocks or, you know, big bulky pieces of wood on the inside, none of that. It's a purely electronic instrument. And it's like sampled off of real accordions and things like that, so that it can still accomplish that. I don't know the science of how they made it. It's amazing, though. It still responds like the real thing.
Did
for
it
the
take
most
you
part.
a while to try to figure that out because it had samples, or?
Not a whole lot. There's like there's a few things when you're getting used to it, because power's on and you're digging through like a little digital menu. If you're trying, almost like with, I guess the most kind of crossover point that other people maybe have experienced with something like that is like when you get like a keyboard versus a piano, and you just got to learn, well, where's that sound I want to use within the programming of it, stuff like that. But it's not, I wouldn't say it was too big of an adaptation, because the physically playing it is, and the principles is all the same.
Right. Okay.
I would think it's a workout. Like that's, you know, even if it's the lighter one that you're talking about that you use for stage normally, still that's, I don't know.
50. Wow.
Well,
So-
after 3 hours of like Oktoberfest when you're playing alone, you're it's it feels like it sometimes.
Yeah.
Does it also need other equipment? Like, do you, some of them hook into it?
Oh yeah. What do you do for amplification?
Do
if
you
you're
do anything, or is it just loud enough?
Well, that will depend on where I'm at. But yeah, so that's where, and that's part of why I own more than one option. Now with acoustics, you can get like an internal microphone installed on the inside of it, and then put an input jack into it, and then plug in. Or they make these kind of exterior mics that can clip on to like the grill, I don't recommend it, but you can take 2 microphones because sound comes out of both sides
Okay.
of a real like acoustic accordion, like the one over there. So you could put like mics on both sides, but that's not really ideal for a live situation. And then usually what I do is like, that's where the electric accordion comes into play. It's very handy for like if you need to be amplified, like in a crowded setting. And that tends to be what I do in that situation instead, where you bring the electric accordion, little mini PA system, and just plug it all in and just crank up your volume to the appropriate level and do your thing.
Yeah, cool. Mary says hi.
Hey, Mary.
So is there like pedal boards for your electric accordion? Like, do you have effects that you can add?
Well, with the electric accordion, I mean, I suppose you could. I've never done it. I've seen some groups that do stuff like that. Like there's bands like They Might Be Giants that kind of use it in a not, accordion orthodox manner that do things like that. I've never personally done that. But also the electric accordions, there are some effects that you can dig through on there. It's just like a synthesizer in the sense with the electric one that there's all these other sounds. Like for example, there's all these organ sounds on it. You can make it sound like an organ. There's like a fake clarinet on it. You can make it sound like a clarinet in your right hand, and then you can do like a partial drum sound with like a fake backing horn sound in the left hand with the electric model. So there's a lot of interesting like choices for the electric model that are neat in that regard.
But you would have to be really quick to figure that all out, what to play when. And I mean, musicians amaze me sometimes.
It really is a hurdy-gurdy.
But yeah, I mean, Roland really put together, and there's other brands out there that do it, but that's the one I'm familiar with. They really put together like, and the amazing part is I'm still using one of the older models, but they're up to like the 11X, and they just keep coming out with better and better, more enhanced stuff that I'm hoping to eventually tap into one of those too.
Does it take you a while to learn it once you get something new, or?
A lot of it's just about like what you're trying to do, because then like that's what I mean. Like in terms of playing a song, if I just want to select like a normal accordion sound and just play the song, that doesn't really change. But if I want to tap into those programming things and you're trying to go, well, how can I get like, like they have this option on there, and I've tinkered with that, and that's really fun to do. Like it's like a kick drum with like a tuba for your left hand, so that you can kind of create the idea of a full actual sounding like Oktoberfest group, and then you can do an accordion sound in your right hand. And there's these different switches that you can hit along the way to change it, so you could in the course of the song kind of quickly hit a switch and then go to like organ and then back to accordion if you hit the switches appropriately. So little changes like that take time, but that principle is still going back to the acoustic accordion also, because you'll see like on that one, if you look at it closer, I can bring it over later so you can see it. But on the bass hand, there are even switches for different tones that activate different tone chambers. And then there's still all these switches on the right hand side that also activate different tones. So that concept comes from even before the electronic models existed. It's just being applied in a new way with the new technology.
Now, how many musician friends do you have that go, hey, let me try that?
Oh, it happens pretty often. We usually get a laugh out of it. I remember,
because do they even understand the concepts? Or is it like the same chords, like, there's C, D, and E? I mean, how does it go?
Some people do, like, but some people don't. A lot of people don't. What typically tends to happen in that situation, if they're asking how does that work, is most people feel like they understand and pretty much do, because they recognize on a piano accordion the right hand side. So they don't ever have questions about that, but they usually ask all about the left hand side because it's kind of foreign to them. It's called the Stradella bass system. And it's basically on that, a full size accordion is 120 buttons, and it looks crazy to people and that sounds terrible, but it's really not. So it's arranged in like these kind of columns, where like the first 2 rows, like if you're wearing it near me on my left side, like going inwards, if you will, from the buttons, are individual bass button notes, like very deep tones. And then next to that, you have a whole row of major chords. And then if you skip over another row, going further this way, it'd be minor chords and then seventh chords and then diminished chords are at the very
Oh,
end.
wow.
Do you want to grab it and
Wow.
actually show it?
Sure,
It's fun to
yeah.
print pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally do that.
Go ahead.
Yep, yep.
We're about 45 minutes in now. Okay.
Say hi if you've joined us. Hi, Mary. Thanks for saying hi. So, yeah, how exciting. So, what's happening with the Irish American Society this weekend for St. Patrick's Day?
Oh gosh. Well, a lot of you probably know there's a huge parade every year in Ocean View.
Huge parade.
It's always the Saturday closest to St. Patrick's Day. So it's Saturday, March 16th this year in 2 days. And the Irish American Society, we have 2 floats. We've got the Irish Cottage float. We've got the Paddy Wagon float. We've got the 32 Irish County flags. We've got our Irish American Princesses for 2024. We have our scholarship winner. Shout out to Quan. He is a youth piper in the Siren City Pipe Band. And he won our Tom Porter Memorial Scholarship for the preservation and promotion of Irish culture.
Awesome.
And
Congratulations.
wolfhounds. And I think we've got an Irish setter coming. We have it's the Paddy Pack, like Irish breed and or Irish owned dogs. So it's like it's a ton of fun. So that's another kind of benefit that our members get. They don't just watch the parade. They
That's
are the parade.
That's
They're in
right.
the parade.
That's right.
So-
And we carry flags.
Yes,
the
the county
counties,
flags, the
the
32 county
county.
flags.
Yes. So exciting.
Mhm.
So say hi to us, wave to us
Yes.
as we walk by.
Yes.
So, all right, now, wow, this thing is neat.
Yeah, yeah.
And is it all the same kind of brand that you like, or you like different brands, or?
I like different brands, but this is a Honer, and this model is when they were still made in Germany. Honer got bought out by China, so I'm very lucky to have came across this. Good friend of mine, Mr. Dale Wise, sold it to me and gave me really a steal of a deal. So he was very kind to me to do that, and I thank him for that. It's also amazing to have something this probably roughly from like the 50s.
It's
Oh,
pretty.
and
I
this
like
is
the
beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dale was a both performer, teacher, and also repaired them and refurbished them. He's retired now, although he still repairs them. And so he did like retuning on this one and really shaped it up, even though it was luckily somehow in great shape. If they're properly stored, not in an attic or because they're temperature sensitive things, then they're stay in their case, then they can last well. But if somebody keeps them like somewhere hot, like their attic,
Mhm.
it's
Right.
bad
Mhm.
news.
Right.
But yeah, they have
Okay.
like tonal switches. So if for some of the Celtic stuff, we have it's a very popular tone for that, or French music, like so where you can use other switches to get different sounds out of it. For example, like they kind of call that's like a musette tuning, or what they call wet tuning, where 2 notes are kind of tuned to be slightly different on purpose, ever so slightly, to kind of create that style of a sound. Something like that would be what's considered a drier sound. So these are our tonal switches on the right-hand side that select that. And then you even have switches on the left-hand side. So that's part of that concept of, even though like the electronic models that have different like synthetic sounds, it still comes from this arrangement.
What are these big ones? You've got like
Those are those tonal chambers for the left-hand side. So like that's one option. Change that. Or you could do the one up top.
it's cool.
Yes.
Yeah, so it gives you like a different variety of sounds to choose from.
Yeah.
And then I'll play you the if you'd like a Swedish tune. To spice things up a bit.
All right.
So this
Let's
is
go.
the one I told you about once I sailed in the harbor. I highly recommend if people get a chance to look up the Alice Babs version.
Babs.
So,
Mary's out there going, play a slip jig. Saying, she knows.
yeah.
You can only do a slip
Well,
jig.
and with the
accordion.
set dancing too, the Irish set dancing, there are polkas and slides in the set dances. So that's why accordion is so popular for the Irish set dancing too, which is what
Yes.
we're going to do when we're in our like 80s and 90s.
That's
so.
right. That's right. That's right. Wow, that's really nice. So tell us about the strap. Like, does it go around the back? How do
They can. I don't personally use that type because it's not impossible, but at least for me, it's a little difficult. It's not impossible to do the type that fasten around the back. So they're just one over each shoulder.
Okay.
Which kind of keep it to
like a backpack but reversed?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like a oversized fanny pack. I don't know.
That's a
We
fanny
should-
pack.
We should
Start
we're
a
good.
new
Let's
trend.
let's do a collab with them and let's do the let's get the West Carey set going again and do like a wild West Carey set with him. Yeah.
She's already thinking of a project.
Choreography,
Mary, watch
choreography.
out, Mary.
That'll be fun.
We'll be Irish dancing all over. So, or German.
Everything. Throw it all in there.
So, is there something else you would like to play? We can make the microphone a little bit closer because it was a little faint.
Oh, okay.
just a little-
I can
But-
move this way and he can get
Do
closer
you
to it.
mind
No, I don't
doing
mind at
another
all.
song?
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think? I think it's
Yes.
awesome. I love it. So, we're gonna have him swing that over for you, so you're just a little bit that way.
You want me to come
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
Okay. You want me more of directly in front of this, or is that good? That's good. Okay.
Camera. Thank you for doing it. Okay. So there we got it. Yep. That's
Good to go.
good.
Okay.
Good.
Well, I can't not do something Irish. That would be terrible. So I won't tell you because I'm sure you'll know. Absolutely. Thank you.
Here, I'm just gonna go into the camera. Come over here, Lynnette, because we're just just going to end the show like this.
But there was
Okay.
an awesome. This is gonna sound weird, but there was an awesome accordion solo in the middle.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that's
amazing.
That's cool. That's
Thank
That
very
was
cool.
amazing. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you for
where
having
can they
me.
check you out next?
Well, the very next thing's tomorrow at the Broadberry in Richmond, if you want to make the drive.
Okay.
But more local will be Saturday.
Okay.
Hampton at Ouzelfinch.
Okay.
That's where the Fighting Jameson is going to be tomorrow night. Broadberry in Richmond. Saturday, two things. Ouzelfinch and Hampton, as well as Billsburg and Williamsburg. We're going to be
Okay.
out there.
Awesome.
And then also the whole group's going to be out for Patty's Day, of course, this Sunday at Elevation 27. Please pick up your tickets. We can't wait to see you there.
Awesome.
So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. And where can they find you on the socials?
For the Fighting Jamesons, or they're on Facebook, Instagram. We're on all that stuff, Twitter.
Okay.
And then thefightинgjamesons.com.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And what about you
And
personally?
then for my own stuff, you can
Mhm.
just check out my own website, mileshoyle.com. There's a little tab on there for music of all the different projects I've been involved in. And then if you're interested in some of the Oktoberfest stuff or anything else for that matter, you just click the performances tab and you'll see both things I'm doing alone, stuff I'm doing with the band. So
Awesome.
come out for something, anything. I hope to see you there.
Awesome. Also, to the audience, if you say hi to me out at any venue, I have these cool stickers and I have some buttons, and I will give you one. Just come up to me and ask, and I've got
Nice.
lots of swag for you. All right. Thank you,
How about the
guys.
American Society? What does that QR take you? It's on the screen. Right
I believe it takes you to a platform where you can join. There's membership information. We have online only for people that are out of town, out of country. We've got individual membership, we've got household membership, and we've got community partner membership. And but if you want to just come check us out on social, Facebook, definitely. We also have a website, www.irl.usa.org. And our Instagram's a little bit underpopulated right now, but we're supposed to be on there too. We'll work on it.
Awesome. 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 So thank you, Miles, for coming
Yes,
on.
absolutely.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Lynnette, for being
having me.
my awesome guest co-host. And if you ever want to be a guest co-host, contact me too. And thank you, Jacob, for all your hard work over there. We
you.
appreciate you. And thank you, audience. And keep
Thank you, Ivan, at the
coming-
bar,
Yes, and Ivan downstairs.
the
And
bartender.
come to Back Bay Brew House Beach House. All right. Sláinte, everybody.
Sláinte.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
All right.